You say you're in property at the moment. Is it retirement villages as well, or is it just retail, market, shopping centres type scenario?
So our main focus is non-residential. So I don't have the numbers off the top of my head now, but our major investments are in retail property, shopping malls, and offices. We've got some component in light industrial, so we don't do heavy industrial, but those are the three major components. Then we also own 42% of a Western European property fund, a listed fund, and that gives us our European exposure, and they've got the same philosophy in terms of investment, except that they did some student accommodation in Edinburgh, but also mainly retail, offices. That's our main focus. Having said that, Waterfall City, which I would encourage you to go Google later, we have the rights to build the city. We kind of gave the rights for the residential stuff to some other guy because we said we're not the experts. So Century 21, please come and do this. Mark Corbett did that. So, but we're part of the bigger community, we're part of the homeowners association, and let's put it the bigger city, where our core focus is the CBD. So we do have the access to the residential estates. So via our Waterfall community, we can go and test your residential application. A good example will maybe be Werner, who had the conversation with Neil from Mellowcabs earlier about, wow, that's really cool. Our city only has 4,000 or 5,000 employees in currently, but maybe we should use the Mellowcabs in the estates and get them to go from the estate to the mall and to the office and take the cars off the road in the city. So there was an immediate application for Mellowcabs, but more on the residential side.
So if you have an idea on both sides of the fence, which one would you prefer us to bring forward?
Both.
Michael, can you share much about all of Africa and the fact that you've got marketing meetings all over your apps? Can you share that? Could you maybe talk a little about
I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I didn't give you a lot of context. So we have a company we call Fatty. I mentioned that a lot of it's always marketing, it's always sales first. So they figure out how to make money out of it. And we had all these marketing companies come and pitch us, and they said, we'll put in free Wi-Fi in your malls, and then we'll give you like a cut of the revenue of all the sales we do. So we were like, sounds great. And then when the third guy came, we said, well, someone's making money, we must figure out what they're doing. And then we realized all the applications of actually installing your own Wi-Fi infrastructure and what that enables you to do. They just conveniently told us only about the marketing part. So we went back, understood. So what we do now is we use Wi-Fi infrastructure, beacon technology, and we've written our own application which we sell to other landlords that actually track you on your mobile device while you're there. We get to know you really well by tying that up to other databases. So we're kind of already pushing to you. So we know who you are, where we're not yet, and we want to be very soon, but South African retailers are a bit, if this is public, I shouldn't badmouth them too much because they're our partners, but so there's a bit of a slow take-up. So I must admit, I think ATTACQ, we sort of front runners on this. We really want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to technology, and potentially we build a technology business and we sell all our malls in 10 years' time because we say bricks and mortar is useless and retail's moved online. So we have the capacity and ability to, if you stand in front of a TV in Incredible Connection, push you a voucher within a 30 square centimeter area. So that's how we've geofenced our malls currently. So that's, in our view, quite cool. But try to sell that to a retailer to say you have the ability. Then he's like, but how do I do that? And how do I push the voucher? So we are poles apart in terms of what we already think we want to do, but then getting our retailers on board and actually getting them to execute. Because it's not me, the landlord, that actually pushes that 20% discount on the TV while I'm standing in front of it. It's the retailer that should do that. So once again, Fatty is a business that, yes, it's a year and a half old, and we kind of don't know what to do with it. We know we're onto something, but once again, that's where you guys come in. So you'll tell us what to do with Fatty. You'll explain to us how that's useful in future. There's things we're not thinking of, and maybe you think of something, and we'll simply just plug it into that ecosystem that's already existing.
Are you completely reliant on Eskom for the power?
Nobody relies on Eskom.
So Werner is the expert on that. Once again, maybe let's I'll split sort of normal properties and waterfall. Usually we reliant on council via ESCOM in most geographic areas. So we have to go through the middleman, which is council. Vanna did a great deal, so in Waterfall City we actually have direct access to ESCOM. But we recently installed a 4.9 megawatt solar plant on the roof of Mall of Africa. We did one now, a megawatt on Moederveen Mall in Potchefstroom. I think maybe going up to 3 megawatts soon if we can. So it's stuff we're already doing. Once again, I think we followed, and Brandon and I am selling us now, but we don't follow the normal landlord model where we say, you know, come and sell me something and I'll put up the solar plant, I'll sign a 20-year power purchase agreement with you. I mean, at 35, I'm quite involved with the business, so I'm a youngster compared to some other corporates. So, and they allow us to think of and dream up these things. So when the solar thing came, we said, well, the younger guy said, but why are we signing a 20-year power purchase agreement when I'm giving away my roof? So we started a company called ATTACQ Energy about 9 months ago, Vanna. So Vanna's the head of ATTACQ Energy. We now, we're in the process of trying to subdivide our properties. Then we lease our roof space to ourselves, so that if I sell the mall, at least I can get the solar income for the next 20 years. So we are trying to build businesses around our existing businesses. We say property is an enabler. By owning the property, that already gives me a head start over anyone else. And how can I leverage that? How can I build other businesses around the property that already exists?
So my question is simply, if you're laying down a new framework for retail in the future, how do you get your tenants to adopt those frameworks? Can you build it into your commercial contract? Say, by renting a space in this mall, you'll be not obligated, but this and this and this come with it that you need to participate in and so on.
First price, yes. So we can use that, but I would say that's the stick approach. What if it's so great you can't resist?
The carrot approach, yeah.
So let's just come up with that. So we with a company now, and so Mall of Africa is great. It's like a great selling tool. So everyone loves it. It's in the news. It's a great mall. So now people want to be involved. So we're trying to create Mall of Africa online now. So we'll probably get all our tenants to sign up. But now I can go and build a DC somewhere, maybe Lagos, but with all my tenants that are in the Mall of Africa, but now serviced out of a DC. It's just online. So we're trying to do those kind of things to say, but that's a carrot. So now I tell my tenants in Mall of Africa, wow, I can open up a market if you sign up. Come and join us. Well, you know, don't be the only guy. But yes, we will be able to do that. So as an example, in our fatty business, we're trying to do that. So what we do there is we sell information to the retailers, because now we can see dwell times, we can see who walks past your store. So I can tell Spur in Eikersstad Mall how many people go to Sterk-Kennecourt first before he goes to Spur, and I can tell Spur how many people go to Spur first before he goes to Sterk-Kennecourt. So that's valuable to some of these retailers, and we, in Fatty's case, are trying to build that into our lease agreement now when we renew. So we say, yes, there's a separate charge, or if you want to renew with me, you have to take this. It's an add-on, and there's a 2,000 rand a month fee, or whatever the case might be. So we do have that ability, yes.
So do customers have to opt in before you start tracking them, or do you track them just the funds?
So we are POPI compliant, in short, if that is your question.
So
Yes.
yeah.
RFID tags, some of the applications that are being used for in your properties, any new applications that are being used internationally that aren't being used locally that you know about?
Yeah, I think we are, unfortunately, a lot of the guys that come to us with ideas, usually it's something that exists somewhere else and they just bring the technology over and they sell it here, repackaged. So we do have some technologies like that, RFID technology, but we'd like to come up with new stuff, because I'm pitching once again Brandon, but the major thing is that via our investments and exposure directly overseas, we want to create small businesses, take them offshore immediately, and just create that footprint very quickly. So when something is novel, new, or changes the way we do things, we want to plug that into our footprint very quickly to really scale up that potential business. Instead of taking an existing technology and applying it in our malls.
I was just trying to help create some context for what's out there so that they can then build on top of that and come up with something new.
So currently there's something we're going to employ it now in Mall of Africa. It's called Blue Dot technology. I'm sure you know about it. So basically, if you use our application in the mall, I'm on the northeastern side. I want to have a Starbucks coffee. The Wayfinder will physically take me via a 3D model and Blue Dot technology. So as I walk, the application will change and it'll make sure I don't get lost on my way to Starbucks. That's an example. No, that's not an RFID tag example. It's just an example of something that is existing that we are employing. Technology can also count against you. I don't want to waste time, but maybe just in Afrikaans, a stalkie. So this wonderful truck tunnel we built underneath Mall of Africa, which was supposed to just, create a lot of synergies in terms of deliveries. It's seamless, it all happens. So a day before the opening, when we had to try and open 300 tenants and get them stocked before we opened the doors at 6 a.m., one of the trucks had a tracker system installed, and we didn't have full GSM coverage in the mall before we opened. We were still busy installing some of their systems. So the tracker unit immobilized the truck in the truck tunnel 18 hours before the mall had to open. So it was a logistical nightmare trying to get the truck out so all the 100 other Checkers trucks can actually get into the same tunnel and deliver. So technology is not always the answer to everything.
Mike talking about the app made me think of something else. Like usually the entrepreneur's first solution is, I have this idea, I'm going to build an app. They've already built an app. Don't build an app. Build a service, even if it's on a WordPress free template with some kind of hammered together thing. Just prove that the concept works. You can build the back-end service pretty easily and then just plug it into the app that they already have. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or have another app. I don't want to download another app. If I download the ATTACQ app or the Mall of Africa app, I don't want to download another 50 apps. So think of something you can leverage their app with instead of building your own thing. And then if we need to build something else after you've gone into Isle of Man and Edinburgh and Romania and 6 malls in Ghana and all over this country, if that's not enough, and where? I missed one.
Cyprus.
Cyprus, Serbia, I don't know. I'm just going to throw out Nepal, name a country.
But Serbia is.
Yeah, not Nepal, dang. They just have mountains and yaks. But there's so much there that you can kind of prove a global business through one deal, and then you can start to scale out and then build, another kind of app after that. But just to get the footprint moving forward and get that momentum, build the service, prove the concept, do the hard tech stuff, plug it into their app, and then later build something else.
Building on that, I always think about the customer experience, also think about the data, like I was saying, how they know how their customers move around in the mall. Think about the shop owner who wants to know that data as well. That's also exciting opportunities in that space from a business point of view.
I think maybe to conclude, so we can just spend 15-20 minutes with you socially to chat for those that have questions. We emphasize it a lot at Mall of Africa, and Brandon has just touched on it. Don't build apps, we want you to solve business problems. So the intention was to give you a quick insight in terms of what does a property business entail, what are all the moving parts, then try and find the small piece in that whole business where there's a problem and fix that. So once that's fixed, we'll cover it up with whatever we need to cover it up with and take it to the market. But it's actually solving that inherent issue or problem or something that's not really efficient currently. Let's solve that.
One last thing, and then there's some wine and drinks and food and whatever, and you guys can hang around and chat and see if you can get time to ask questions to these guys. If you have something that's data related and you're like, okay, that's interesting, but how do I get access to that data? If it's a specific question around something, email me. You probably have my email and whatever confirmation email you got when you signed up to this thing. Email me and we can see if we can get at least a map of data or some anonymized sample from the data that they do have that we can give to you to start testing and see. And I can't guarantee that, if it's too confidential. But let's see if there's some kind of cross-section that we can make public for you if you want to try to build a solution on that. Okay? Awesome. Enjoy wine. Thanks for coming out. Have a great weekend.